Today, I'm inspired in my defiance because of a lot of very small things that are moving very quickly within our government. First, I'm inspired by the fact that after 7 weeks, the representative from Arizona was finally sworn in to the House of Representatives. She also is the 218th signature on the discharge petition to make sure that all of the Epstein files get released publicly. There are additional messages that have also been released ahead of all of the files being released that show that Donald Trump was obviously aware of the trafficking going on from Epstein. All of this miasma of activity is because the government is now going to no longer be shut down. And while I wish the Democrats would have gotten a lot more for their efforts, these moving pieces are really important to preserving the rule of law and that there are consequences for the actions taken of extremely powerful individuals. I want it so that no one can hide behind their power and behind their wealth. The fact that the Trump administration does not want the Epstein files to be released, that they wanted to keep the entire government shut down in order to make sure that it didn't happen, means that they are complicit. They are guilty of protecting child traffickers. They are guilty of trying to preserve power at all costs. And I am inspired in my defiance today because there is a sliver of hope that they won't be able to do it. That there is enough energy behind the idea that there should be transparency and that no one is above the law. Now, I am entirely aware that there are high-ranking and very popular Democratic individuals who are going to be caught up in this wide net of the Epstein files. I have no problem with the idea that these people will also face consequences. I want consequences for everyone who is responsible for protecting child traffickers. I want consequences for everyone who has lied in order to protect Jeffrey Epstein. There is no one who should be able to hide behind their wealth or their power. Now, having these signatures for the discharge petition does not mean that it's actually going to happen. It still has to go to the Senate and theoretically still has to be signed by the president, who is not going to want to do that. But it does put everyone on the record as either voting for or against opening up these files. It shows exactly who is trying to preserve this level of secrecy. And it allows us to make a decision on whether or not we want these people to stay in power, to stay in control, to stay in the darkness, hiding powerful people because they have given lots of money to a particular candidate or because they have been connected for years in this network of really important people. Over the next few days, weeks, and months, the Trump administration is going to downplay whatever might be in these files. They are going to say that this is a deflection off of what is really important. And while some of that is true, we do want to tackle immigration or healthcare. It is not true that this is unimportant work. Holding people accountable is something that the government should be engaged in. And it should not matter what political party they're a part of or how much money they have in their bank accounts. It is not taking our eyes off of the ball in order to say, we want these files released. It is not too much to ask for transparency in our government and for powerful people to be held accountable. And finally, I am inspired in my reality today by the fact that a federal judge in Chicago has ordered the release of hundreds of people who were rounded up as a part of immigration raids there. The transparency for these raids has not been done, and there are 615 of them that are still in custody and need their own due process. The judge has prohibited Trump administration officials from pressuring these 615 individuals to agree to voluntary deportation, or self-deporting, as they call it. Again, it is not too much to ask for transparency or due process. These people have human rights, even if they aren't fully protected by our Constitution by not potentially being U.S. citizens. We need to see one another as fully human We need to see one another as community members in the same global community. This is an effort to make sure that that happens. There is a role to play in determining immigration status and to determine whether or not there are criminals amongst the population. And yet, it is not okay to go after certain individuals because they look a certain way or you believe that this is the right way to go without giving them their due process rights. As you might imagine, I'm pretty fired up whenever we see people standing up for human rights, for due process rights. And I want that to continue. No matter what the actual outcome of this case is, it is showing that we still have the ability to stand up for one another, that we still can care about one another, and there is still a path forward within our judiciary and within our legislature to make things right. If you have gotten this far in the video, please do let me know by leaving a comment or like or even subscribing to the channel. I hope to be here with you every weekday, talking about what inspires me to defiance and what inspires me in our reality.